everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Becca and today we are talking August favorites. So August was one of those months where I tried a lot of new products. I feel like I have some months where I don't try a lot of new things. I have some old favorites, but August was one of those months where I emptied a lot of things and I brought a lot of new things into rotation. So I actually have a lot to share with you today. I have skincare, makeup, hair care, some fashion and lifestyle bits. So let's just jump right in. So first I want to talk about the I'm From Rice Toner. So this is a hydrating toner. It's very fluid and watery, and it's 77.8% rice water. And you're supposed to shake it before using, and I sort of pat it into my skin. And I really like this for layering. I have done up to like 3 different layers or skins of hydration right after cleansing on some nights, and it's been very hydrating, soothing, and rice is known to be sort of skin brightening and to even out the skin tone. And I have found that to be true. I'm someone who's prone to redness or flushing, especially when triggered by heat, which, you know, it's August, so that's happening a lot. But I found it to be, yeah, just very soothing and calming overall. This actually replaced the I'm From Mugwort Essence, which was also a beautiful hydrating product. I've gone through many bottles of that, but this has been in line to try for a long time. It's a Gothamista favorite, and I've had it in my collection ready to be opened as soon as my last hydrating product ran out. So I was really excited to try this. It reminds me a lot of the Laneige Cream Skin in that they're both milky, fluid, hydrating products. I do think the Laneige Cream Skin has some more emollient ingredients in there that make it a bit richer in the way that it moisturizes the skin. This is a bit more watery and fluid, but they're very similar in the way that I use this on my skin. And I'm actually really happy to have this in my rotation as we're transitioning sort of more into fall skincare. So I'm From is a K-beauty brand, and within the brand, there are several different ranges that are focused around specific ingredients, like the rice toner. So another I'm From product that I just brought into rotation this month is the Honey Mask, and it is a beautiful wash-off mask that contains 38.7% honey, and it's this beautiful, rich texture. I don't often fall in love with wash-off masks. I'm kind of lazy, and I find wash-off masks to be sort of more hassle than they're worth, and I often find that their results are very temporary. But once in a while, a wash-off mask comes around that I really fall in love with, and that is the Honey Mask. So what's special about this compared to other wash-off masks is that it doesn't dry down. So it's this rich, creamy consistency that stays rich and creamy the entire time that you're using it. So oftentimes wash-off masks have a leave-on time of about 10 to 20 minutes. This has a leave-on time of from 10 minutes to an hour. So it is beautiful for when I'm sitting in the bath or I'm having a really nice moment of luxuriating and self-care. I love that it stays rich the whole time and it doesn't ever feel like it dries down and makes my skin sort of crusty, because when a mask gets to that point, it often has the reverse effect of dehydrating your skin. So when it's fully dried down, then it's actually pulling moisture out of your skin. And I love that this doesn't do that. It also smells like honey, which is just so delicious. And lastly, it washes off completely clean. So even though it has such a high concentration of honey, it's not sticky and it won't be goopy and it won't leave you a real mess. It actually has a very elegant rinse off experience that leaves your skin really, really soft and hydrated and supple, but it doesn't leave any sort of film or stickiness on the skin. So believe it or not, the next product also contains honey. I'm just really having a moment with honey, and it's just so healing and soothing for the skin. So this is the Eczema Honey Skin Soothing Cream. It's this beautiful restorative cream that claims to be nutrient rich, honest moisturizing, and itch cooling. So obviously per the name, honey is a star ingredient, and it also contains 1% colloidal oatmeal, which is also known to help soothe sensitive skin. So this brand is specifically targeted toward eczema prone or other sensitive skin types. And it also contains olive oil, almond oil, aloe, sunflower seed oil, and it's a quite short ingredients list. So it looks like this. It actually looks very similar to the honey mask, but it's a cream, and I have only been using it on my décolleté, which is where I tend to get eczema breakouts, especially triggered by heat in the summer. So sometimes I feel heat sort of rising in my skin, and if you have eczema or other skin conditions, you'll know that that's sort of a sign that a potential outbreak is coming. And so I've applied this to my chest and across my neck before bedtime after I take a shower or a bath. And I've found it to be incredibly soothing. And every time I've used it, when I think an outbreak might be coming, it sort of soothes that outbreak. I haven't tried it over active eczema or active dermatitis or anything yet, but I really have a lot of confidence in this because of how calming and soothing it's been for my skin. And I've heard of other people, other influencers who also have sensitive skin and love it for that, and also love it for kids. They also make a version of this that's gluten-free, so it doesn't contain the colloidal oatmeal, so if that's a potential irritant for you, you also have an option within the range that doesn't include gluten. And the last skincare item is one you will have seen me apply a few videos ago. This is the Youth to the People Superfood Air Whip Moisture Cream. So this is a gel cream product that has a sort of whipped consistency. It's very lightweight, it's very hydrating. It is one of those gel creams that sort of holds its shape when you scoop it out of the jar, and then when you apply it to the skin, it sort of starts to feel wet, and it has a really nice spreadability. And I love this because of how lightweight it is, even though it still delivers a lot of hydration to the skin because of the hyaluronic acid and other hydrating ingredients in here. It also wears beautifully under makeup, like no pilling, no heaviness, no tackiness. So it's sort of the perfect summer moisturizer, and I think normal to oily skins would love this. It doesn't contain a lot of emollients, so dry skins may want something a little bit richer, but it is just honestly an ideal gel cream texture, and oftentimes that's what I'm looking for in the daytime. So moving on to makeup, I have the Refi Brow Sculpt gel. It's actually more of a brow pomade, and you will have seen me use this, I think, in a Get Ready With Me a few videos ago. I will link it in the cards as well as on Instagram. I sort of did an in-depth tutorial. So it is a sort of dry pomade formula. It's this white color, it comes with this spoolie, and it also comes with a double-sided tool on the end. So it has that brush as well as a comb. I love this stuff. I have to say it's replaced my other brow gels, and it is now an everyday staple for me. So I love the amount of control this gives me through my brows. And because it's sort of more of a dry paste, it doesn't have as long of a dry down period as some of my other favorite brow gels, like the Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter or the Got2b hair gel that I've used as brow gel. This starts to dry down a little bit more quickly, and so it makes my routine a bit shorter. And my brows are very straight. They grow completely downwards. They're very, very stubborn. So to find a brow product that actually can give them vertical hold throughout the day is pretty rare. And I really love that because this is a pomade versus a gel, it actually gives me more of a real hair-like texture through my brows rather than the sort of fully laminated, slicked down on the skin look, the way that the Benefit does, for example. The only drawback to this product is that it has a tendency, if you apply a lot of the product, to leave a bit of a cast because it is a white pomade. So if you are looking for a one and done brow product, this may not be it, or you just may want to use it really, really conservatively. I always pair it with a brow pen, like my Milani Weekend Brow in Espresso. I always use something with color to sort of fill in sparse areas and go over any whiteness that may be left over from the pomade. So just something to be aware of. It would be really interesting to see them come out with this in a tinted formula. I don't know if that would work with the texture of the pomade, but I would be really curious to try it just because I love it so much, and I am used to a more, how should I say this, high maintenance brow routine because my brows are so stubborn and require more than one product. But I think there are people out there who would love to see this in a tinted version too. But either way, it's become an everyday staple for me and I cannot be without it now. Next, I have a lip product from Revlon, and we love a good drugstore find. I also used this in a video a while back, and I've used it several times since. So this is the Super Lustrous lipstick in the shade Fire and Ice, and the Super Lustrous lipstick, or I should say it's actually the Super Lustrous Shine formula. I think there's Super Lustrous and there's Super Lustrous Shine. And the Shine ones have a round tube and they are a very glossy, sort of sheer, juicy, tinted formula. So let me swatch this for you. It's this beautiful coral, sort of watermelon, bright, punchy, juicy red. And I love this sort of shade for summer. I think this is perfect for when you want a bold and poppy lip, but you don't maybe want to commit to a matte formula, or you're not looking for something that's so full opacity in terms of a lip product. And this starts out sheer, as you can see, and the more layers you wear, it gets a little bit more pigmented and brighter. It won't ever be full opacity, but that's not why you would use a product like this. It's very comfortable on the lips and it has sort of a balmy texture. I think the most similar high-end product I can think of is the YSL Tint and Balm, and they're both sort of thin, shiny, glossy, balmy sort of formulas. And I especially love this shade. I think as summer is coming to an end, I'm really sad because summer is my favorite season. And so I'm holding on to all of the bronzy, sort of punchy, poppy sort of makeup looks. And this has been perfect for that kind of look, but it's still wearable in the daytime because it has that sheer glossiness to it if I don't want to commit to a full-on lip look. The Revlon Super Lustrous Shine formula in general across the board is beautiful. I also love the shade Nude Illuminator. That's one of my most worn lipsticks. And it's just one of those drugstore products that feels like high-end because it feels elegant in formulation, and also in the color curation, it's pretty sophisticated and looks more expensive than it really is. For the last makeup product, I obviously had to mention the Pat McGrath Utopian Dream Palette. I just posted a full review, very detailed, with swatches, comparison swatches, and 4 different eye looks using this palette. And I'm also wearing it on the eyes today. I'm wearing a combination of the coral, the bronze, and the Skin Show nude shades. So I mentioned in my review video that I was not planning on purchasing the palette, and then I got a Sephora $100 reward, and then the palette showed up on Sephora. So it all just sort of aligned and I ended up with the palette, and I'm so glad I did. It has so many surprising qualities to it that I discovered after getting the palette in my hands that didn't really come through in the promo photos. The formulas have improved so much, especially the matte formulas. They are very smooth, pigmented, and they blend out so evenly, especially the darker mattes like the coral that I mentioned and the plum shade in here. And historically, some of her darker mattes have been on the drier side, sometimes a bit hard pressed, sometimes patchy, and I've noticed a huge improvement in those formulas. I also think that there are several shades in here that feel like cream eyeshadows, specifically this shade Cosmic Rose, this shade Bronze Desire, as well as the Trio Chrome. They really perform, feel, and behave the way that cream shadows do. So her metallics have really been amped up in terms of their creaminess and their butteriness and how wet they look on the eyes. And of course, the Astral shades are just totally stunning. They're very special. They have an even more emphasized duochrome quality to them than some of her past Astral shades. So I can just tell I'm going to get a lot of use out of this. And I do think this palette falls somewhere between Divine Rose 1, but closer to Divine Rose 2. But I actually think this might be a palette that I wear even more than either of those palettes, just because it has a really nice balance of everyday tones on this side of the palette, as well as those sort of like amped up fun colors. On to hair products. So if you followed me for any amount of time on Instagram, you probably know that my favorite dry shampoo is the Living Proof Perfect Hair Day Dry Shampoo. I think it's basically perfect. It really makes the hair look and feel clean, which sometimes dry shampoos make you look clean but don't feel clean, or make your hair feel clean but don't look clean. I think Living Proof does both very, very well, and I can use it multiple days in a row without getting so much product buildup and that sort of like gritty or powdery feeling in the hair. Well, I didn't think it could get better, and then they made it better. So this is the Living Proof Perfect Hair Day Advanced Clean Dry Shampoo. So this is the advanced version of their original formula, and it's even more potent in its ability to clean the hair. But it doesn't add any more texture or more weight. It just works better. And I don't know how they did it because the original is so good, but this performs really beautifully. And I think it's going to, I don't know, I think it's going to replace the original for me. It just, because it has that advanced formula, I find that I actually need to use even less product because it works so efficiently. And I know that dry shampoo isn't for everyone, or people can be very picky with it, but I have an oily scalp, and I am someone that if I don't wash my hair every day, which I don't, I wash my hair about every 2 or 3 days, I definitely need a dry shampoo, and this is just incredible. It does have this same sort of powdery, sort of, is it floral? A slightly floral fragrance that the original does. They have the same fragrance. I like it because it smells clean, but it's inoffensive. It doesn't really stick around as a fragrance in your hair. I know some people don't love it, but yeah, I think it's really nice, and it doesn't really add anything to the hair. It doesn't add weight, it doesn't add texture, it doesn't add grittiness, and it doesn't add a lasting fragrance. So it's pretty much perfect in my book, and I'm really, really glad that they have released this in the advanced formula. On to some fashion favorites. I have been wearing the Aritzia Bobaton Sculpt Knit tanks nonstop all summer. I have them in several colors. I have them in black, in cream, and in white. And I actually just picked up the tanks in the one shoulder version. So this is the one shoulder Bobaton Sculpt Knit tank. So I realized this looks kind of funny that I can hold it up in the frame. It looks tiny. This is a size small, but it's very, very stretchy. And the Sculpt Knit tank gives me a bit of support, and so I don't need to wear a bra with them. Granted, I'm not very endowed in that region, and I'm a 34B, so I don't need a ton of support, but it is supportive enough that I feel like I can be out and about and I don't feel like I need to wear. So I wasn't sure, to be honest, that I would be into the one shoulder trend. I have pretty broad shoulders for my frame, and I was worried that it would make my shoulders look even broader. And I actually was really surprised how flattering this cut was. So I found it to be really sexy and sort of sophisticated in a chic way that made me feel kind of elegant. I wore this to a birthday party with a sort of black knit midi skirt, which I will talk about next. And I still felt very much like me, but sort of an elevated version of me. And I've also worn this with like high-waisted balloon jeans and sandals and dressed it down, and it worked really nicely that way too. I find that the knit the Sculpt knit fabric in general dresses up and dresses down very well because it has this sort of ribbed texture to it. So I'm a huge fan. I'm really glad I have a sort of elevated basic piece like this in my collection. And I also loved the white one as well, especially paired with like a red lip. It was a great look. So highly recommend the Aritzia Babaton Sculpt knit line in general. So this next item is something that I actually pair with the Aritzia knit tanks. So I mentioned that I don't wear a bra with those, but I do like to wear a nipple cover to sort of give me some smoothness. And I'm someone who doesn't really like to wear a bra. I only wear it when I really have to. So these covers are like essential for me. And these are the best that I have ever tried. So this is by the company B6 and they're called the Nippies. And they're silicone adhesive covers. I'm not gonna show you mine up close because I've worn them several times, but there are so many qualities that make this better than your average nipple cover. So they're a little bit wider in circumference and they actually come in multiple sizes. So this is the small size and they have a larger size as well. And they also come in multiple skin tones. So this is their lightest and I think they have a medium tone and a deep tone. And so I love how inclusive they are in their offerings. They really think about breasts of different sizes, different skin tones, different needs. There's also an adhesive version and a non-adhesive version. But this is the adhesive version. I also find that they are very, very thin, but smoothing somehow. So other adhesive covers that I've tried in the past are thin around the edges and then they get thicker in the center, I assume to sort of give you more smoothness. But I find that actually sometimes changes the shape of my breast. Like it makes my boobs look pointier sometimes or misshaped if they're not exactly, if I don't apply them exactly symmetrically. Maybe you know what I'm talking about. This is a very specific issue. But they have really solved that issue because this is the same thickness all over, but it's still very smooth all over and yet very thin. And even though it's thin, it creates a really nice, smooth, round shape around the breast. And it's totally seamless. You don't see any edges, even when I'm wearing like a skin tight top like the Aritzia tank. And it doesn't have any sort of cast or color that shows through a white tank top, let's say. I often wear this with my Aritzia white tank tops. So this has been a huge win for me. They are also reusable, I think between 20 and 30 times, and they're washable. So you can wash them underwater, leave them to dry, and they're still adhesive. And so we'll see how long these last. I think I've worn them up to 20 times already, and they're still doing really well. So yeah, they're more expensive than other nipple covers that I've tried, but they're definitely worth it in terms of the quality and the durability over time. The next item I wanted to mention is a skirt by Free People. It's called the Skyline Midi skirt, and it is a ribbed knit texture. So I've been on the hunt for a ribbed midi skirt. I wanted something that would sort of transition from summer into fall. Even though I'm in LA and fall is a long way off still, I wanted something that I could dress up with like a blouse or heels or that tank, the one shoulder tank, or something I could dress down just with a t-shirt or a button-up shirt sort of worn loosely over it. And I came across this skirt and I ordered it in two colors. I ordered it in black and sort of this cream color. And I'm really, really glad I did. It fits the bill exactly. It has a slit up the middle, but it's not too high of a slit. It's still comfortable to wear and I'm not self-conscious. And it is a slightly thicker knit than some of the other ribbed skirts that I've seen. I would wear a seamless underwear with it. That's what I've been doing. I probably wouldn't wear underwear with seams. I think you could probably see underwear lines through that, or you would want to wear shapewear with it. But with seamless underwear, it's very comfortable. It doesn't show any lumps and bumps. and it also has an elasticated waist. So you can sort of adjust where you wear it on the body if you want to wear it a little bit higher like I do, or if you want to wear it lower, it works that way too. So I really like it in the black. The cream color I got was a little bit cool toned for me. I think I'm actually going to exchange it for sort of a warmer caramel color. But I'm a big fan of this item, and like I said, I like to buy basics in multiple colors just because I know what I like, and if I like something, I want it in multiple shades. And it actually comes, I'm looking at the product page now, it comes in like 15 different colors. So there's neutrals, there's brights, there's colors, there's something for everybody. And my last item is my Reduce water bottle. So I shared this in my Sunday 6 at some point this month, and if you don't follow me on Instagram, Sunday 6 is a series I do in which I share 6 things I've enjoyed that week of any category, and other people join as well. We all sort of see each other's posts. It's a very fun way to do a sort of weekly favorites. But this is the second Reduce water bottle I've purchased. I have another one in a brushed silver, and it is insulated. It works with hot and cold beverages. It has a plastic straw as well as a lid that works as sort of a sippy cup lid or just a straw lid. It's not the most insulated water bottle I own. For example, my Hydro Flask is way more insulated. This only really stays cold all day if it's packed with ice. But there's something about having the handle that is very satisfying to me, and something about the handle and the wide straw that encourages me to drink way more water. I think it just feels like an adult sippy cup. And this is 40 ounces, so I try to drink 2 of these a day, and I have found that it has improved my water consumption greatly, which is why I bought another one, so that I could have one for when my other one is dirty and vice versa. I also love that this entire water bottle is dishwasher safe. One more amazing thing about this cup is that even though it's 40 ounces, it still fits in my car cup holder. So you can see this area sort of tapers in, which is why it's not the sleekest design, but I love that it fits in my car cup holder. It makes it very easy to drink while I'm driving or to sort of grab for my drink. And all of these factors combined just make me drink so much more water, or whatever liquid you put in here. I haven't used it very much with hot beverages yet. I think I will as we transition into cooler weather. But yeah, I love this thing. It honestly makes me so happy, more happy than any water bottle has ever made me. So that is it for my August favorites. I know we covered quite an array of products and categories today, but I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have had a wonderful month. I know we're moving into the fall, into the school year, and sort of into the last part of 2021. And I can't believe how quickly this year has gone by. I know my sense of time is really warped, but I hope that you are all taking really good care of yourselves, of your communities, of the people around you, and that you're staying healthy. And I'm sending you lots of love. So I will see you in my next video. Bye.